My name is Julie Lindholm. I'm Executive Director of Wellness Place in Wenatchee, Washington. The Helping Hands grant was instrumental in keeping our cancer patients getting to their treatments. The money was spent on over 100 gas cards to help our cancer patients get to their treatments here in Wenatchee. Many of our patients travel 2 to 5 hours round trip every day just to get to their radiation treatments. And additionally, the funds helped us be able to ship our nutritional shakes to our cancer patients. The extra added expense of shipping was something that we were not prepared for. So normally we had the cancer patients come here to pick up the nutritional drinks, but because of COVID and we were on lockdown for 3 months with the office closed, we were forced to ship all of those, which come in 24 to 32 packs. So shipping is very expensive on those. So Wellness Place is now open. We've been back open for about 5 months, but because of the compromised immune system of our cancer patients, we still are shipping out our gas cards and our nutritional shakes. We do have our clients coming in for wigs, but we are doing that on a very limited basis because we do need to sanitize between each patient and limit the amount of people that are in our building. The Community Foundation is really near and dear to my heart. I've watched year after year how the donors, the Community Foundation, the staff, they all really help our community in so many different ways, but especially this Helping Hands grant really helped us. We lost about 3 major fundraisers for this spring because of COVID, so we took a very big financial hit, and our cancer patients still need to get to treatment, and this was just not an option for us. So having that extra funds was absolutely incredibly helped us financially. The Community Foundation staff, I've worked with them for a few years now, and they are always so helpful. We could pick up the phone, call them, ask them any questions. The board of directors are all very nice, and they all are in it for the right reason, and that is to help our community and the mutual members that we serve. One of the things that I love about the Community Foundation is they never stop helping our community, and this Helping Hands grant was instrumental not only to our nonprofit, but all of the other nonprofits that were very struggling from the effects far-reaching from COVID and the financial strain we were all feeling.
We're a grassroots organization, and we're an offshoot from Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network, WISN. Our main focus was Know Your Rights and court accompaniments. We changed focus when COVID hit and the courts closed, and we weren't going to be holding any Know Your Rights meetings. So we looked around and we thought, well, what can we do that would be beneficial then for the immigrant community? And we thought probably financial assistance, because there's a segment of our community that wouldn't be eligible for any kind of federal funding. So in planning that out, Mari Chui was very instrumental in setting up an accounting system for us so that we could have complete transparency. We started a GoFundMe campaign. The Buddhist group, the Stone Blossom Sangha, was kind enough to say they would be our fiduciary for GoFundMe. We could run it through their bank account. Sunny Slope Church of the Brethren has been very instrumental in letting us run checks, people that write checks to fund us. Then we looked around, well, how are we going to distribute it? And do you want to talk a little bit about that, Wenatchee?
Yes. So when we would have referrals, so community organizations, so this was a community work, you can say. So we would get referrals from different organizations such as Parque Padrinos and Gallegos, other different organizations in our community that will refer us, families that were in need, that were impacted by COVID, either they lost their job, they were behind rent, whatever the situation was, they had a huge impact by COVID. So then we would go and do an intake and fund these families.
Thanks to a lot of resources that have been put in place in counties and things like that, we have also been able to provide them with those resources. WISN, for instance, they have a database with so many resources, depending on where that person lives. So we've been also able to give those resources out to individuals and make sure that they qualify for those, and I think that's been a huge help as well. So far, we've been able to help about 400 families.
In distributing this, when we get to their house, we call them on the phone, let them know that we're there. Particularly now with COVID, that adds another layer onto this. We have to be very careful how we are giving this money to people. And I've had people, actually, after I've given them the money and I'm driving away, I've had people call me on the phone and tell me, oh my goodness, thank you so much. You don't know what this means to me. And also, I've had people, when we've made arrangements to give them some funding, and maybe their husband was called back to work. We've also had people call and say, you know what, we're going back to work. Give that money to somebody else who needs it maybe more than we do.
Yeah.
It's just been incredible.
That's really.
Isn't that neat?
That's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful experience. Heartbreaking but heartwarming at the same time.
When we took the direction of helping families that have been impacted by COVID, we saw the need. It was extremely, losing your job, food. So we partnered up with Bison to do the WARF project, which was the Washington Immigrant Relief Fund, which is similar to the stimulus check. It was not as much as the stimulus check, but it was something, to help families that did not receive. And it was an amazing experience, like Alejandra mentioned, we had a hotline where people could call and apply, we would help through the application process. And the best part was when they received the funding, they're like, thank you for your help. And they thought you wouldn't, and it was a simple application, but for some, it's just hard, they don't know the language barrier, technology barrier. But it was a really great experience, helping helping applicants and then sending thank you, helping me apply, without you could have done this. Unfortunately, not everybody could get funded because there was a budget. But I could say, a good, 70-80% of our community was funded with the WARF project.
To add to that, I think this project was very eye-opening. It was insane because personally, I didn't know that there was such a great need, and the many ways that these people were greatly impacted, and then knowing, their status, how many more barriers that they had to face. So I think knowing that we are able to relieve some of that is very, very rewarding.
We love supporting the Community Foundation for multiple reasons. First, the staff is enormously competent. They've got a broad sense of the pulse of this region. They know where the needs are, and they're very skilled at what they do. Second, the Community Foundation is local, and they're very nimble. They're able to change and adjust and evolve their giving programs to base the needs of the community. So if there's fires, they can evolve their giving programs to address those needs. If there's a pandemic, they can evolve their giving programs to address those needs. They're local, and I think everything about what we do and support is to support local community needs, and I don't think anybody has their pulse on it better than the Community Foundation of North Central Washington.
I work with children in my job, and so the opportunity for us to support initiatives that feed children, educate children, keep children safe locally here in our hometown and in North Central Washington, that's important to us.
We do have a scholarship program that's in my parents' name, and we fund that. But I also think the attraction of the Community Foundation for us is its ability to address evolving and changing needs in the community.
Right.
And I think that's really critical. So there's a staple of programs that they have that continue to grow and develop. But there's also the ability the Community Foundation staff has to invent and evolve and adapt. And that's pretty important in changing times like we have.